There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Oh, Pam, so naive. We still love you, though. I'm sure that Pam Bondi's heart was in the right place when she said that she would prosecute hate speech on Katie Miller's podcast. What she meant was people who were celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which unfortunately many people were. However, her invocation of the phrase hate speech tended to sound a little bit like a leftist. I really doubt she meant it that way, but she did feel the need to clarify. The blowback on social media was swift, not least of which was from Megyn Kelly, who posted on Monday, "Hate speech is not prosecutable in America, which is good. Pam Bondi knows this. She means those who actually plan violence," which would not be about the speech, but the conspiracy. And many have pointed to Charlie Kirk himself, his views on the topic. Kirk tweeted back in 2024, quote, "Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment." So please CC Pam Bondi on that sentiment. That's Charlie Kirk himself, ironically, pointing out that hate speech is not a legal category. It's really just something that leftists use to censor the speech of conservatives and just normal people too. So Pam Bondi tried to clean up her statement. The Attorney General posted on X Tuesday, quote, "Hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. It's a crime. For far too long we've watched the radical left normalize threats, call for assassinations, and cheer on political violence." So now she's kind of conflating hate speech with threats, which doesn't make sense, but at least she seems to know that there's a problem. And I also like that she's identifying these threats as coming from the left, which to be fair, they are. Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller seemed to be subtweeting the AG when he wrote on X Tuesday, quote, "The path forward is not to mimic the ACLU of the mid-90s. It is to take necessary and rational steps to save Western civilization." Amen. Miller's point is that so-called hate speech is a frame of the left. And that was on his wife's podcast that Bondi made those comments, by the way, adding a layer of irony to this. And to be super clear, I myself have no desire to engage in hate speech, whatever that might be. But if you're talking about castigating races of people and making derogatory comments, that's not my bag. But the point is that what constitutes hate speech is completely amorphous and can be applied to just reasonable speech if liberals decide that they want to throw that label at you. Here's the deal. I don't think Pam Bondi is a leftist by any stretch, but she's not extremely precise in her language, let's just say. She is, however, a good lieutenant for President Trump, so I'm not worried about her in that position of Attorney General. Let's give her a little grace, as people like to say. She accidentally used a leftist term, and I think she's aware of the issue. And I hope that you're aware that you've been listening to Michael M. Vlog. Do follow me right here on YouTube.